like this, the more that I realize like nothing, not a word in this book is insignificant and just something to pass by. It's something to take note. And this whole lineage of people, there's a reason why they're letting you know what happened to Esau. I mean, yeah, he's not the one that has this birthright and whatnot now. It was taken, it was tricked from out of his hands, out of his life, from his brother and his mom. But I notice also that the promise of Abraham still reigns true. It's just like Ishmael. They may not be the chosen ones, they may not be those, but they're still blessed. Even Esau as a supposed servant to his brother and the people of his brother, being the servant always, he's still very prosperous. Anyone that's coming out of Abraham's lineage has that potential to be extremely blessed and prosperous. That's very important to know. So, his lineage, as long as it is, and it's really interesting that it got so grand, it became so grand and prosperous. For one, he had to separate from his brother, and even from there, as the children had children and all and so forth, there was prosperity in their land. And, so much that there were these leaders, as I said, there were dukes, there were kings long before Israel ever had a king. They were doing that. And they were that well off that they had this whole culture of Edom. It's what they're branded, the people of Edom, which is Esau. That's, that's his version of Israel, I guess. So I think it's really a good idea to keep in mind the lineage of this person, Esau. There's obviously, he's got a whole chapter dedicated to telling you about what happened to him so far. I think it's extremely important just to keep that in the back of your mind, not just look at this chapter as a bunch of names that we find challenging to pronounce, because there's so much more to this chapter than that. It's trying to tell you, really, who these people are. And if you study the word, the scripture, you can find out who these people are today. It's going into extreme detail to tell you about Esau and his lineage, the Edomites, Edom. And there's a reason for that. This book is extremely well detailed. The Bible, is extremely well detailed and documented through generations, and